What's up guys, I'm Mr. Audio, and if you're new here on this channel we talk about music production, sound design, mixing, mastering, and pretty much anything to get your tracks ready for release. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a video. Let's get into it. Alright, so I thought it was about time I made another Melodyne tutorial. So I went back through some of my old productions and I found a project file where I had just transferred the audio into Melodyne. And this is the production where I gave a pretty poor performance on the backup vocals. So we're going to see how far we can take pitch correction using Melodyne without sounding unnatural. Let's check it out. Alright, so after you transfer your audio into Melodyne, it should look somewhat like this. These kind of look like MIDI notes. We're going to fix that. So take your cursor and bring it over to the slider bar here and just shrink this up a bit. Now you're going to get these waveform blobs. And so this is just the lead vocal take right here. These two tracks underneath it right here are the backup vocals. And we're going to hit Command and bring these in the mix as well. Alright. Now as you can see, there's some stuff that we need to correct here. But not a lot. Alright. Now there's another tool you need to look at. Down here, take your cursor and go down here to the unison separation tool. Alright, so this will give you a good idea of where your notes end and start and what you might need to correct. As you can see, the sibilant part here starts before the sibilant parts here and here. This can cause you to hear some weird things. You don't want that to happen. You want all the sibilant parts to be happening at the same time or completely remove them from the backup vocals. Sometimes I do recommend removing them from the backup vocals, but it depends on the case. In this particular case, we're going to keep them there. It's a rock song, and I need there to be more sibilant parts in this particular case so that it cuts through the mix a bit better. See, I'm using it in more of a transient way. And as you can see, we got a lot to correct here. But first, let's join these unisons back together. We're going to hit Command A, Control if you're on a PC. And we're going to zoom out just a little bit, alright? So, right away, let's go over the tools, alright? So, you have your main tool, your scroll tool, and your zoom tool. I don't really use these too much. I find myself using these other tools here. Now, these are the 5 main tools you'll be using, but the ones underneath it matter a lot too, like the pitch modulation tool and the pitch drift tool. The pitch drift tool I don't use too much, but it is very useful in certain cases. We probably won't use it in this particular video. I will try to find a production where I've used this tool in the past and make another video for it. But like I said, I don't use it often, so you shouldn't either. Now the pitch modulation tool is something I use quite often. Alright? So let's go over what these do right here. Alright? Your pitch tool will allow you to snap pitch in, double click them into place, wherever, and basically move them all across the board. Alright? Now your pitch modulation tool will center your pitch wherever you have the waveform representing it. Now I can double click this and it will go completely flat. Let's just double click all this and see what happens. 'Cause I'm the black sheep, I got nothing to prove. As you can see, you get that kind of T-Pain hard tuning effect. Alright, so that's what that tool does. Now, let's explore the format tool. Alright, so there's no extra tools other than just the format tool. So the format tool makes you sound like a chipmunk or like you have a really deep voice. Now, what this is doing is it's messing with the non-pitch related content of the audio file. You can do this naturally with your voice to a certain extent. Let's say you sang something a little bit thin and you wanted to thicken it up. This is where you would do that. Let me show you a real world example. 'Cause I'm the black sheep. Okay, that sounds alright. Let's say I wanted to thicken it up a bit. We're going to actually do some format shifting in this video, but I'm going to show you what the tools are first, and then we'll get into correcting this. I'm the black sheep. I'm the black sheep. I got nothing to prove. I don't fight fair. I don't care if I bruise, and there must be... See, it just adds that little bit of thickness to it. It feels like I sang it in a lower register with a little bit more weight, a little bit more of my chest. But I didn't do that on the performance. I sang it pretty thin. So if you wanted to thicken it up, this is a way to do that. So let's look at the next tool in the list here. This is the amplitude tool, the fade tool, and the sibilant balance tool. So what these tools do is affect the amplitude of different parts of the audio file. All right, now the amplitude tool affects the whole amplitude of the note. As you can see here, it just takes everything up and down. All right. The fade tool will allow you to fade in or out. And you can move the fade wherever you want. So let's do an example of that. See what I'm doing here? All right. And then the sibilant balance tool. Now, what you can do is you can just lower the sibilance of something. But it works just like a de-esser. If you go too far, it will sound unnatural, kind of like you have a lisp. So try to just take a little bit off. You know what I mean? Then you move on to your time tool here. Now your time tool affects everything. When messing with this, I like to shut your grid off. And notice I've already done that. And sometimes I like to view it as 16ths, just for kicks, you know. And you can just move the notes around. Now up here, instead of listening to all of the tracks, you can go like this. You can gray out these performances here and they will not play. As you can see, we messed with the timing a little bit too much there and it's sounding really weird and unnatural. Alright, back to normal. Now let's mess with the time handle tool. Okay, so these two tools I use rarely, but I use the time handle tool a bit more than the other tool. So this is for changing your pronunciation of a certain word. Approve, I don't fight. See how I changed? Do you see how I changed how I pronounced that word? Let's try it again on something else. Black sheep. See how sheep came really quick? Let's undo that and try to listen to what it was before. Black sheep. Black sheep. You see how you change the pronunciation of that using the time handle? Now, this is very useful in case you had some timing issues while performing. Let's say you were listening to yourself in your own ear and that was distracting you. This could be a way to fix some of those issues. Now, the attack speed tool just basically, controls the attack of the note. Black sheep. So we can take this down or up, and as you can see, it affects it dramatically. I'm the black sheep. And this is all dealing with pronunciations of certain words. Did I get them correct? Was the timing right? Did I pronounce them right? This is really how you can shape everything if you screw up in the performance. Now, I'm not saying you should strive to fix everything in post, but if you do accidentally screw up and this is all you have, you can still work with it. Now, the next tool is some of my favorite. These two tools are great. The note separation tool separates a note. Like, let's find an example here where I would need to separate a note out. Let's show you what the note separator can do. Let's use it to separate this into two sections. Let's just say I needed it to go down. Approve. As you can see, you can do some interesting things with this as well. So this is a real-world example of a time when you'd use the note separation tool. See where Melodyne is detecting these two performances as a separate note? We're going to cut that in half, and it's going to detect it right there, just like that. Let's say we wanted to separate this breath here. We can just do this, and we have total control over this, independently from the other note. Now that wasn't possible before. As you see, when we move this note, that one moves as well. This makes it possible to shorten notes that weren't otherwise shortened in the performance. Also lengthening notes that were not lengthened in the performance. You could have overlapping notes in this same performance. You can do some very interesting things with Melodyne, and I'm sure I'll do many more videos on this. Now, those are all the tools. Let's time align this and pitch correct this, all right? So what we want to do further is we're going to select all of the performances. So instead of just clicking here and doing this to each track, we're just going to hit Command and select all of these tracks. You can also hit Shift and do the same thing. You can select all of these tracks if you wanted to, but we're not going to do that. So we're going to select the tracks that we need to work on, hit Command A, Control if you're on Windows, and then we're just going to double click them into place. Now you're going to want to make sure this is on chromatic here, so hit Control and make sure it's on chromatic snap if you're a good singer. Now if you know what key it's in, obviously set the key. Then it'll give you the scale and you can do key snap. But we're not doing that. We're going to do chromatic snap because I sang this performance pretty decently, and we're going to show you what it can do if you sang it a half step off. Like there's some sharp notes and some flat notes here that we're going to correct. Cause I'm the black sheep, I got nothing. As you can see, that sounded bad. Got nothing to prove. Alright, as you can see, there's some timing issues happening here. We're going to tighten these performances up just a little bit. And so this is a perfect example of using this note separation tool right here. And as you can see, I now have complete control over the start and end of this note. And so I'm actually going to grab the time handle tool here. I'm going to bring this in, grab the time handle again, and then shove this forward. Black sheep. Listen to that. I'm the black sheep. And then we're going to move this a bit out further too. Boom. As you can see, we're moving along swimmingly. Nothing to prove. Alright, so I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but the blobs represent the waveform and where Melodyne thinks the note should be. Now, if it ever has trouble detecting, like it detects an octave lower, so if you're a raspy singer sometimes, like I rasp up my vocals, it might detect it an octave lower. So then you have to hit this note assignment mode up here, and you'll be able to see some notes. Even if it isn't there, just click where it's supposed to be. So like, let's say this is on D. Okay, let's find the D above. As you can see, you can just pretty much place it anywhere and it will just detect it there. So we're going to undo that and go back to this. Black sheep, I got nothing to prove. I don't fight. Oh, we're a bit sloppy right here. Let's fix this. All right. Okay, so now we're going to go back out of unison mode and try to fix these pitches here. Now back in unison mode to fix where they line up to. Now we're going to highlight this one. Okay, so that one's the bottom one. So we should line everything up to the bottom. Looks pretty good right there. Fight fair. For fair. Fight fair. Alright, so this is a case where you'd want to separate these notes so you have complete control over the sibilant parts of these notes here. Alright, let's try to match these sibilant parts up. Fight fair, I don't care if I... Oof, that sounded horrible. Alright, let's fix that now. Yeah, don't care if I...
don't care if I care.
And yes, you can just select a lot of the notes and drag them to where you
I
want.
don't care if I bruise.
Alright, now let's fix the timing of these. I find that when in unison mode, I do my most timing fixes in unison mode. It just works out better. Alright, note separation tool again. Alright, so I deleted that so I could move this here. And we're going to do the same thing here.
Fair, I don't fight fair. I don't care if I bruise.
Oof. Timing there is not the greatest. Alright, so note separation tool again. And we're going to want to gray out these other ones here. This is the lead vocal, and we're going to want it to match up. So get out of unison mode. Make sure you match up with these.
There must be some.
Alright, so now go back into unison mode. Let's work on the timing again. Bring these tracks back in.
I bruise and
As you can see, we got some sibilant parts here happening again before they need to. Alright, so now I can overlap this.
bruise and there must be something.
Alright, we're getting
And
there.
there must be something wrong inside my.
Alright, now remember, the line is where your pitch actually is, so make sure the lines line up over the blobs. So if the blob goes in the wrong spot by like a half step, but the line is traveling on top of the other lines, if you're lining up unisons like I am right now, you're going to want to leave it there then. Alright, it looks like it's shaping up to be really nice and lined up. After this, we're going to play it with the track to see if we have any timing issues. I thought it was pretty in time to begin with, so we might have minor changes to make, but I don't think any major changes. Alright, now you want to trim up your ends. Perfect. Alright. Grab your note separation tool. So if you cut a note using the note separation tool and a sibilant part lowers itself, you don't want to mess with it. In fact, if it's on a backup vocal track, let's just turn it down. That's on the lead, so we don't want that then. Alright, now let's work on the timing issues here, because apparently we're about solved with the pitch. Let's see where we're at with the pitch. Nice. Look at that. The lines are matching up perfectly. Perfect. Nice. Like I said, the lines are where your pitch is. So you're really trying to match up the lines.
Addicted to the pain. Addicted to the pain. Addicted to the pain. 'Cause I'm the black.
One more little part left to correct.
'Cause I'm the black sheep. I got nothing to lose.
Alright, there's a lot going on here. We need to fix this. Look at all these timing issues here. Let's try the go out of unison mode. We still are missing that.
Got nothing to lose.
Alright, that looks pretty good to me. We're going to finish up the end here. Perfect. Alright, now let's listen to a before.
I'm the black sheep. I got nothing to prove. I don't fight fair. I don't care if I bruise.
That sounds horrible. Let's listen to the finished product.
I'm the black sheep. I got nothing to prove. I don't fight fair. I don't care if I bruise. And there must be something wrong inside my brain.
Alright, now there's some timing issues. Let's fix that.
Something. And there must be something wrong inside my brain. And there must be.
It looks like must is hitting too early. Let's.
And there must be something.
Yeah, we're gonna move that there like that.
And there must be something.
I think we need to move this up a half step.
And there must be some. And there must be something wrong inside my brain. And there must be something wrong inside my brain. And there must be something wrong inside my brain.
That sounds good, but I still need to move this over then.
There must be something wrong. And there must be something wrong inside my brain. And there must be something. And there must be something. And there must. And there. And there. and there must be
note separation tool. Best tool you have.
and there must be and there must be something wrong inside my brain. And there must be something wrong inside my brain.
I think that's good.
And there must be something. And there must be. And there must be something. And there must be something wrong. And there must be something wrong inside my brain. 'Cause somehow I'm addicted to the pain. 'Cause I'm the black sheep, I got nothing to lose.
Wow. As you can see, pitch correction and time aligning with Melodyne does a world of difference. Now I'm going to take it a step farther in the next video and really show you how to process the vocals and make sure they're separated from each other so they don't sound like the same take. We're going to be messing with the formants, we're going to be messing with vocal chains, we're going to see what each process does to the waveform. Stay tuned, thanks for watching, and if you stuck around this far and you're an Ableton user, there's some free racks with links in the description. There's also some paid products on my website. Again, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Mr. Audio, out.